Today on the podcast, we have Terry and Dick. They did a couple Scotland trips with Jeff Bartholomew as their host. We're going to talk about their experiences on the golf course, some funny Catty stories. Please enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Travel Rolly Podcast. Today, we've got Terry and Dick, good friends of Jeff. They've been to multiple trips to Scotland and other places with Jeff. We're going to dive into their trips and their experiences and how they met. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So we'll start with where y'all went to college, who your football teams are, and how they did this season. I'm just kidding. But Dick, you went to Georgia Tech, correct?
I did go to Georgia Tech, and we don't talk. We're a basketball school, and
that's right,
and a volleyball school now. We don't talk about our football team very much right now.
And then Terry, you were Harvard of the Midwest.
Yeah, Harvard of the Midwest.
Awesome,
yeah.
Awesome.
I did
my undergrad at UC, and then went across town and did my grad work at Xavier.
Oh, okay. You said Cincinnati and then Xavier.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Did you get a lot of hate for that?
No, but I say for like the last 32 years in the crosstown shootout, I'm 32-0. Okay. And I've been corrected on that when they say, no, you're 32-32. So it's like, okay, whatever.
For other people who don't know, I went to Cincinnati 5 years, and Cincinnati and Xavier are neighbors, and they hate each other. So he went to both schools. So it's kind of an interesting duo for colleges to go to. But let's talk about how y'all met. Who wants to go first?
Well, let's see. The first time I went to Scotland with Jeff was in 2007. Is that correct, Terry?
Yep.
So, and in fact, I met Dale Schmitz on the flight over from Atlanta to Scotland. That's the first time we met. And then when we got to Scotland, Terry was one of the crew of a large group that went over in 2007.
Yeah,
I think we had 11 people, right?
Geez, I don't remember the number, but it was a large group.
We had a large group.
So how did the group get formed together that first trip in 2007?
Well, I think Bart put the trip together, and what he would do at the time was he would about 15 months before the trip would actually happen, he would throw out an itinerary, and the first however many gentlemen that got their deposit into them, they would lock in their spot for it. And so he was actually planning the following trip before he went in that year. So in other words, in 2000, the trip that he went in 2006, he was planning 2007 before that trip. So I think it was like a 15-month leeway on that. So it was basically, he just threw the itinerary out there, and whoever wanted to go. And it was a classic. It was the one that had Turnberry, Carnoustie, the old course. So it was we played Prestwick that time also. So there were quite a few classics on the itinerary, and I think that's why there was such good interest for it.
It's a fantastic first trip to go to.
I knew nobody in the group except for Jeff.
Wow.
And I was the same way.
And,
that's awesome. I'm glad y'all did that.
So I said, I met Dale Schmitz on the airplane from Atlanta going over.
That's
never
funny.
met him before.
I didn't know that.
I guess we flew into Edinburgh and then hopped on the vans and went to Turnberry on the East Coast. I think that's where we started. Or maybe we went to Prestwick first.
I think our first was Prestwick. Well, I haven't thought about that, but
it's been a long time.
Yeah, we did fly into Edinburgh. Yeah, I flew into Edinburgh by myself, so I walk into Edinburgh, and it's like I see Bart and get introduced to a bunch of other lunatics, and ended up having a great time.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I know there's a story out there of y'all two sitting at a bar stool at a bar, and that's where you really became good friends. Tell us about that night. Tell us about that night. Come on.
Well, by the time we got to St. Andrews, we had spent a little bit of time together just at the courses and hotels and stuff. And Terry didn't get the pleasure of sleeping with being my roommate yet. But
yeah, that came 2 years later.
That's coming. But when we got to St. Andrews, of course, we first thing we did was go to the Dunvegan, and we all got to the Dunvegan. And I got to tell you that, so Jeff didn't say this to me until we got to St. Andrews, and we're all sitting in the Dunvegan, and he says, we only have 8 guaranteed tee times. And there were 11 of us.
Yeah.
And he said, and Dick, since you were the last guy in to the group, I'm sorry, but you don't have a guaranteed tee time. And I'm, oh, what? What? You drugged me all the way over to St. Andrews and I don't have a guaranteed tee time? He says, but don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll be able to get on.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we did get into the lottery to get in, and I played with Jeff and the young Jeff and old Jeff for the first round at St. Andrews, and pouring down rain. Lovely. And but obviously we were staying at the Dunvegan, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's probably how you got
that was the year we were at the Dunvegan. Yeah, right above it.
Dunvegan. Mm-hmm. So when we got done, we came in and sat down we sat down at the bar and had a beer, and Terry came and sat down at the bar next to me, and we started drinking and talking, and that became a regular spot for us.
Yeah, and the stories from Bart and Dale have grown over the years about how much time we spent in those bar stools, but yeah, we put a good imprint of our butts in those stools.
Yeah.
We got to know the bartender on the first.
Yeah, made good friends with the bartenders. That's what I was about to say.
That's right.
Shoot. Well, yeah, Dunvegan's probably where y'all stayed getting the 8 confirmed tee times. That's kind of how you would do it if you weren't a travel coordinator. So you probably Jeff probably booked with the hotel to get some tee times available.
I don't know how he did it, but we all got to play. I did get on, even though I didn't have a guaranteed tee time, and ended up playing and it was 3 of us, and we had a great time. And even though it was raining most of the way, we enjoyed it tremendously.
Well, yeah, 50% of the tee times go to the ballot anyways, so there's a good chance you get on. But let's talk about your golf game. Who won that week?
I know I didn't.
The championship?
The trophy.
Did you win?
The claret jug.
Do you get one of these?
Got it ready. There we go.
I'm like, is that this one? Oh yeah, I did win. That's
the claret jug.
Does it say?
But we did it at we had the championship at Kingsbarn that day.
That's correct.
The last day.
And yeah, it was Kingsbarn's. Just it's just a fabulous course. It's one of my favorites, and I dominated. No, not really. I'd like to say I did. But yeah, so that's my one claim to fame for my whole golfing career is that. So I'll hold that one over you for a while, Dick, until you get one.
Well, I've had a couple of tries and haven't done it yet. And although I've come close, I find out after the fact that I came really close. And if I'd have just not made a double or something on the last hole.
A double on 17, right?
I would have. I blame my caddy, but of course, you got to blame your caddy.
Well, there's always another chance for you, obviously. So, Dick, you live in Atlanta. Terry, where are you living right now?
I live up just south of Cleveland and west of Akron.
Okay. So
Ohio. So northeast Ohio.
Is that how you know Jeff, just from school?
Yeah, just from school. We met our first year at UC. He was in the room next to me. We lived in the same suite for 2 years. And then we've just stayed in contact through the years.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. Good friendship over the years.
So that trip was obviously built in with the most famous courses in Scotland that are a lot of favorites. What would you say, Dick, was your favorite course that week?
Ooh, I think actually, well, St. Andrews is obviously, it's always the favorite. I mean, it's the most fun playing golf that I've had. The course is not real difficult, in great shape, and it's just fun. It doesn't matter what the weather is. It's always it's a fun track to go play.
Mm-hmm.
But we had, I mean, yeah, we played Prestwick, which is a great old course that's a little quirky and has some crazy holes, like the one where you go over the mountain, the Himalayas, where you hit it over the hill, and there's a rock that tells you where the pin is.
Yeah, that hole's actually called the Himalayas, I think.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And that was, Prestwick was great. I had a great caddy at Prestwick who would, you got these caddies that they give you a read and you go, really? And he says, yeah, and you hit the putt where he tells you to hit, and by gosh, it goes to the hole, even though it doesn't look like it. Yeah. But then we also played Turnberry, both courses at Turnberry, and the Ailsa course is spectacular as well.
Yeah.
And then we got our butts kicked at Carnoustie.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did, Terry, but I know it was difficult.
Wasn't I on the all-world team there or something? Or what was it, UC against the world or something?
Oh, that was in 2009.
That was in 2009 at Ely.
Yes.
The Periscope.
That's another story.
Yeah, we won't go there yet.
But yeah, Carnoustie was tremendous, but really difficult. I remember the first hole, Eric Preston, is that his name, that played with us, who was like the best golfer in the group, I think, other than Terry, because Terry won. But he hit his first drive on Carnoustie, and it went straight down the middle, and we walked down to find it, and it was in a bunker. And he's like, what? I hit it right down the middle. And it's like, the caddy's like, that's Carnoustie. You got to know where to hit it. The middle is not always the place to hit it. So
yeah, I've heard Carnoustie is a really tough challenge. Must have been fun though. Next time y'all get up to Scotland, y'all have to try the new course, Dunbarney. I'm sure Jeff has told you about it.
Yeah. Dunbarney.
Yeah. So
I can't wait.
That'll be on the next itinerary. So after that trip, y'all went 2 years later. Tell us what was different about that trip 2 years later.
Well, I think just kind of knowing the lay of the land and knowing what to expect just made the trip a lot easier. But we played some different courses, and we also played some of the same ones. We played the old course again. We played Kingsbarns again. But the one that I'd love to go back and have another shot at would be Royal Dornoch.
Yes.
We played it in terrible conditions. I just remember the wind was howling when we began, and it got worse or better, depending on how you want to look at it. The winds got worse as the day went on. And I think it's the 8th hole, Dick, or correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where you make the turn and start coming back.
Right.
And I just remember the flag was just, it was just shaking sideways. And on the way in, I remember 2 holes in a row, I had under 100 yards into the wind, hit full knockdown 8 irons, and didn't get it to the hole on either of them. I mean, the wind just knocked it down. But that course, I just remember thinking, man, this course would be so fun to come back and play again once you knew how, all the greens were.
Absolutely.
How the wind was going to affect it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
well, it's just a great layout, and in fact, it's probably my favorite course other than St. Andrews is Dornoch. And I don't know if you remember, Terry, that I had gone over early with my girlfriend at the time, who was Scottish.
Oh, that's right.
And we toured around, and then we met everybody at Dornoch, and I got there a day early and went out and walked up and got to go out and play it. And the weather was perfect. Yeah. We got out there. It wasn't rain. It may have spit a few times, a little bit of rain, but sun in and out. And I think I shot like an 83. And then
that'd be
the
a
next
tremendous
day,
score anytime on that course.
And the next day, I was all excited to play it again. I know it a little bit. And I got out there and I think I shot a 98.
Yeah.
It was just totally different. And
but that was a fun day. That's one of the days you remember. Blast. You remember the howling days, the windy days, because that, it's just something different, and that's kind of what makes it fun.
Absolutely. Any new courses that y'all are looking forward to playing next time you're in Scotland?
Oh gosh,
I'd go over and play anything you throw in front of me over there.
Yeah, I think
I'm
whatever
serious.
Jeff
I would.
recommends.
It's such a fun game. I remember my caddy at Carnoustie, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and he was the one who really started getting me to play the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
And once you learn how to play that, it's just so much fun to play golf that way. I've found that, and I think that's why I just fell in love with that style of golf over there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking like when you're 20 yards off the green and you're putting up the hill?
or throwing something way back in your stance from 50 yards and bumping it 20 yards and then letting it roll up on the green. It's definitely playing the ball down. Yeah. And that's what like the days at Dornoch, you don't have a choice. You have to play it down.
Learning that you can hit an 8-iron to 20 yards in front of the green and let it bounce up and get up there instead of trying to carry it all the way onto the green.
I've got a big head, so I'll probably try to just spin it right at the pin, and I'm gonna get destroyed by
Good luck,
courses.
Brother.
I know.
We might have some money to throw on the line if that's how you're gonna play.
I've been told that I need to start practicing my bump and runs. So, well, we did that 3 club challenge a couple weeks ago, and I had to use a 7-iron around the greens. And let me tell you, if I can't do it on normal day, normal course, it's not looking good for me in Scotland. So we'll see. I may need to do some more practice.
And 2008 was also the year or 2009, excuse me, was the year that we played Old Murray.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yep.
And that's the year that Jeff. So we all had played the old course. I guess it's the first time, and we were sitting at the clubhouse having a pint after our round, and Jeff disappeared. And then all of a sudden he comes back out and says, "I'm a member." Like, what?
Yeah.
He says, "I just joined this club."
Wow.
And that was the start of it. And Jeff could tell you, I mean, it's a great club. And I've been over again to play at their amateur event, the Murray Open, which is a fantastic event. And I've met guys that are members of that club that I still stay in touch with, the Scottish cousins. Yeah. And but that was a lot of fun. We've got to play both courses at Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then we also had we played at Ely, and it was the Bearcats against the world because that's
right. The Bearcats dominated.
Love to hear it. I need some of that. I need some of that energy.
The one other course we played, Dick, we played Tane.
Yes.
In 2009, which was that was one of those really fun, kind of quirky little courses that had a lot of fun little holes that you really had to think your way around.
Yes.
And that was kind of a chilly day with some wind, as I remember it also. So
one of those courses that's not at one of the big the big famous ones, but has got a lot of great holes and just Scottish golf.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had a caddy for Prestwick. What other courses did y'all have caddies for?
Oh, geez. Carnoustie.
Definitely Carnoustie.
Twice at Kingsbarns.
Definitely Kingsbarns.
Did we have them at Turnberry?
I don't think we
did.
I don't think so. I think we just carried our bags that day.
Yeah. Did y'all rent trolleys?
No, I just carry.
I think I rented trolleys and most of the time, yes.
I got you. Any funny caddy stories for us?
Oh yeah. In 2008, when we played St. Andrews, I had a caddy named Malcolm, who was known as the Tay Seal, because I don't know if Dale told this story of him. He's known as the Tay Seal because he swam across the Tay River for a beer. but let's just say Malcolm was probably still a little numb from the night before when he was caddying for me. Yeah. And about halfway through the round, I said, "Man, I think the wind has switched around." He goes, "No, it's still the same." And I said, "Yeah." And I picked up some grass and threw it up, and it blew a different. Goes, "Oh, yeah, maybe it has switched." But we got to number 17 of the old course, the road hole. And I hit a great drive, and I'm right in the middle of the fairway, but I'm like 200 yards out. And I said to Malcolm, I think I should just hit like a 4-iron up to the front of the green and try to get up and down. And he says, "Oh, no, if you hit your 3-wood the way you've been hitting it all day, and you hit it, see that red flag behind the green? If you hit it right at that red flag, you'll be perfect." And I was like, "Yeah, but if I pull it 5 yards left, I'm in the bunker. And if I push it 5 yards right, I'm on the road." He's, "Oh, no, you've been hitting it great. Hit it right at that red flag." So I hit it, and it goes 5 yards right. And we get up there, and my ball is over the green, on the road, up near the rock wall, across the road.
Yeah.
And of course, we get up there, and Malcolm says, "Here, let me show you how to hit this," and takes out one of my clubs, and drops a ball and hits it into the wall and bounces it back over. And Dad's looking at me like, "I think he made you do that just so he could take a shot at it.
Show off a little bit.
Show off at it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And I tried bumping it on the road, and I ended up taking a double, I'm sure.
Man, how did his shot end up?
He didn't get it on the green, but it was fun to watch. But then we also, on the same thing, on number 18, I hit my drive, and we get up, and my drive is on the road. What's it called? Granny Clark's Wine, that goes right through the 18th fairway.
Yeah.
And my ball is laying on the road. And we get up there, and Malcolm says, "Well, in a competition, you'd have to play it where it lies, but in a friendly, you should get a drop." And Dale looks at me and goes, "This is a competition. Hit it off the road." And I'm like,
"You play from there anyhow. You're at St. Andrews, man.
You have to.
You have
to.
And so I took my 9-iron out and hit it off the road, and Dale videotaped it. And I actually got up onto the green and 2-putted and made my par. And Dale says, "See, you can say you parred number 18 from the road."
Did you make a little
Granny
spark?
Clark's Wine.
Did you make a little spark?
Made a little spark. It was all good.
That's good. I'm glad you.
And wait a minute, there's one more part of Malcolm that you got to hear. So
yeah, please.
As everybody does, as you're crossing the bridge going up to 18, you stop and take pictures, and you turn around so you're facing away from the 18th fair, green, and the RNAs in the background. And so you're taking the pictures with the RNA in the background and everything. And so we had 2 caddies, and Dale gave Malcolm, my caddy, his phone, and his dad, CJ, gave the other caddy his phone, and they took the pictures for us. And we go into the Dunvegan, and we're sitting there having a drink after the round, and Dale's looking at the pictures, and he goes, "Oh my God, that idiot. He had zoomed in, so all you could see was our heads." And we could have been.
It's not like you need the bridge in that picture,
Oh, we could have been at a Muni in Ohio, anywhere. You couldn't tell where we were, and there's a guy sitting next to us at the bar, and he was a caddy, and he overhears. He goes, "Oh, who was it?" And it says Malcolm. He goes, "Oh, yeah, he's an idiot."
And that was your guy
But
you had all
thankfully,
day.
CJ had his caddy took good pictures of us, so we did have good pictures of us standing on the
good.
bridge.
Good. And that's the guy you had to deal with all day?
Yeah, that was Malcolm. I didn't have Malcolm anymore. Thank goodness.
Telling you hit the rewood. What about you, Terry? You have some good caddy stories?
I was sitting here thinking the one guy that I met at Carnoustie, like I said, he was just one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I remember we were at Carnoustie. I don't remember if that's after the 9th or the 10th hole, but they have that shack where everybody puts up their bag tags from wherever they're from. So it was the next hole. And I remember I piped a drive, and we got out there, and I'm sitting in a divot, and I'm like, oh, I pipe a drive, and this is what I get. And I think I was like 115 out or something. And I'm trying to figure out if I can pop it out of there just like I would a normal fairway shot or whatever. And he's the one who suggested. He said, "Why don't you take an 8?" I wish I could do the Scottish brogue because it's so fun how he does. But he just said, "Why don't you just take your 8-iron, put it back in your stance, and just bump it up there, carry it about 30 yards, and let it roll the rest of the way." And Bart and I had been doing some trash talking off the tee box because he bombed it over me, and
Yeah,
yapping
I'll let you
away.
hear it.
So I end up, so I do it, and I bump it up there to about 15 feet and make the putt for birdie. Bart pars it, so it's like I can hold that over his head. He was a really good guy, but the one guy that I had at Kingsbarns, I had the same guy both years, not by plan. It just worked out that way. We get to the first, we get to where we got our caddies, and I'm like, "I think I had you 2 years ago," and he acted like he remembered me. He probably didn't, but the thing that I remember about this guy was that in the off seasons, he was a big mountaineer, and I'm kind of a backpacker and a hiker and a rock climber and that kind of stuff. So we had something to talk about. And the year in between 2007 and 2009, so it was in 2008, he went to like base camp 3 on Everest, which I think is at like 22,000 feet. Which I've never been close to 20. I've probably been at 14,000 feet at the most.
Yeah,
he's up at 22,000 feet, and I just thought that's what he did. He caddied for a few months a year, made some money, and then he would go on some type of adventure. Come back, caddy, go on some type of adventure. So really interesting people that you meet. They all have different stories. They all have different lives, and I don't remember one that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, that's good. So we've talked all about the golf courses. Let's talk a little bit about what y'all do outside of the golf course. What was some of the of y'all's favorite things doing in the city of St. Andrews?
Sitting our butts in the Dunbank and eating fish and chips.
Other than sitting, eating fish and drinking beer.
Well, actually, the first year we got there, I believe it was the first day we got there, Jeff had planned a tour with a tour guide around the city of Edinburgh. And there's a ton of history and all the cathedrals and the fort were all really interesting. And if I remember right, Dick, it was most of an afternoon that we went.
Yeah.
We got in there and it was probably a 4 or 5 hour tour. And it was all really interesting. Maybe I'm a little bit of a geek when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I just thoroughly enjoyed that. And then, Dick, if you remember what we did in 2009.
Did he have the same kind of tour at St. Andrews?
No, I was talking about the distillery. When we went to the distillery that he planned for the tour.
Oh, yeah.
For the
in
distillery.
2009, we went
Edward
to the Edward Dower Distillery and got a tour of the distillery and learned how they make scotch and sampled some and bought some. But I think there was, when we got to St. Andrews, I'm not sure if it was 2007 or 2009, Jeff had a little tour of St. Andrews as well. And I don't think I didn't do it because I was tired and wanted to do something else. But I did, take the time to walk up. St. Andrews is a great town, college town, and you can walk up to the the ruins of the old cathedral
Mm-hmm.
and walk through the graveyard, see the grave of old Tom Morris and young Tom Morris.
Wow.
And then I spent, an hour and a half, 2 hours just walking around the town, checking out the ruins and the architecture. And that was as much fun as anything.
Yeah, I think one of the things when you're over there, you think about it, everything here for us, the oldest thing we're going to see here is 300 or 400 years old. Over there, the buildings you're seeing might be 1,200 years old. They might be built back in the 800s or the 900s or whatever.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you're thinking, man, these buildings have been here forever, in the history that's gone on. It's just all very interesting.
Yeah. So those are y'all's best experiences besides sitting at a 19th hole after a round of golf, having a beer. Is that correct?
That was
there's something about putting your elbows on that bar that you get real comfortable real quick. So
start drinking a Guinness and just kind of feeling
good
after your terrible round.
I was the Guinness man, and Terry was the Tennis with the Top man. So
yeah, I do my Guinness, but yeah, I kind of fell in love with the Tennis with the Top. So
explain that drink to us.
Real simple. Tenets is one of the pilsners that I think it's a pilsner. It might be a lager that they serve over there. But what they'll do is they'll fill it up to about that far from the top of your pint, and then they splash it with 7-Up or Sprite. And it just adds a nice little citrusy, refreshing kick to it. So after you're out walking around all day, you come in, get a nice refreshing drink, and sit back and enjoy it.
Tenets with the Top.
Yep.
Sure. So what was y'all's favorite 19th hole in St. Andrews?
Oh, hands down, Dunvegan.
Yeah, the Dunvegan. That's the place. It's a great bar, and all the pictures, all the history everywhere. You've got one thing that I told Jeff after the second time that we went there was that what was the lady who ran the place?
Sylvia?
No, I can't. I don't. It was anyway, the Scottish lady who ran the place with her husband, Jack, and Sheena.
Okay.
Sheena. I said to Jeff that excuse me, that Sheena made you feel like you were somebody special, like you were a friend of hers, even though you never met him before.
Mm-hmm.
She took care of us and it was like, that was a great place to go because they made you feel so welcome. Like you were a special person to stay there and be with them. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it just was fantastic. And sadly, they don't own the place anymore, but I'm sure it's still pretty good.
Yeah. It's a great experience going somewhere, feeling at home. With these trips that Jeff planned, what was the main thing that made it so special?
The camaraderie of being with the guys.
I was just going to say, we can sit here and talk about the golf courses and all the fun that we had on the golf course, but what it really ends up being is it's a group of, the first time we went over, it was a group of strangers, and because we all share the same passion and all enjoy the game of golf the way we did, we had something in common, and all of a sudden it's just the camaraderie of golf. It's just, you think about throwing your bags over your shoulders and walking down a fairway and getting to know somebody and sharing the same passions. It's all about the people that you go with. Don't get me wrong. It's great to go over and play the courses that you've seen on TV and you've read about and heard all the stories about. That's a huge part of it. But the main part of it is the people that you're there with.
Yep. Even if you can't share rooms together very well. So.
That's okay. I sleep on the floor in the hallway very, very well at the end of the day. So
that's a story for another podcast. We'll keep it PG. But yeah, that's awesome. So, and then the trip or the dinner that Jeff plans at the very end. After the last round, where you get to, present the claret jug to the winner. That's got to be pretty special and fun, right?
It's always, we had I'm not sure which, we did 2 different places, I think, but
we did the
we had a great
in.
dinner.
Let's see, we did the Pete in 07, and where'd we go in 09?
I'm not sure, but we had a great meal, and the crazy one was in 07 when we went to the Pete, and we had this guy who's old Tom Morris came in and talked to us. So it was a guy who dresses up and pretends to be old Tom Morris.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he was featured in some commercials here in the States for a golf manufacturer or something.
Yeah, he's kind of famous for it. So
yeah, he
but
came
that was
in,
fun,
told some old stories, and
he presents the trophy to the winner, the claret jug to the winner. But Jeff gives everybody something. Somebody gets you get something like a participation trophy, and I think I was the best newcomer.
Hey, I have a trophy like that.
Trying to make you feel good, Dick.
In 2000, and then I think I was best dressed in 09. But even I wasn't best dressed in 07. Somebody else took that from me. So
I'm trying to think where we were in 09 for that final.
I can't remember. I know that we had a great meal at some place, and everybody got to eat some of my meatballs when I got up to go to the restroom.
Of course, you probably got meatballs at a Italian. You're just like Jeff. So for future trips, what's on y'all's bucket list for next destination?
I'd love to go to Ireland. I think that's the next thing for me for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the west coast of Ireland. If I'm not mistaken, on the west coast, you've got Ballybunion, you've got Enniscrone, you've got Lahinch.
There's a ton of great courses.
I can think of right off the top of my head, and I'd love to go play those venues.
Yep, Rossapina's got great courses. Yeah, we definitely got some.
My dog wants to come in. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, grab him.
I'm in, buddy.
So we already know y'all's favorite beverage. Dick, yours is Guinness, right?
Oh yeah.
And then Tenet's with the top.
Scotch.
What do y'all drink on the course there, or do y'all wait till after?
Wait till after.
I wait till after. Do. Yes.
Because
sometimes you got a flask in your bag that you got. If you need a little.
Don't tell them all of our secrets.
Some birdie juice, maybe.
If the wind
right?
is whipping, you got to have a little nip of the golden nectar. So, which is the Scotch that's over there.
Got to have the birdie juice.
And I got to be very partial to Bal Blair Scotch when from Dornoch. That's where I was introduced to that at the Dornoch Castle that we stayed at, which was a great place.
That was cool. That was a cool place.
They had a great bar, and we had a few drams at the bar in the Dornoch Castle, and Bal Blair was what I had there, and that's become my favorite Scotch for sure.
Yeah, had a great dinner just around the square there in town from where we were staying. We kind of walked Catty Corner, and that's great. That was, like I said, I'd love to go back there again.
I am looking forward to going back to play in the Murray Open again. Which I went back over with Jeff and Dale to play in the Murray Open, which is in July, and it starts right after the Open Championship is done.
Well, we've got a trip planned with Open Championship to St. Andrews Old Course and then Murray Open. That's in 2022.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that because that's a great trip, and playing in the Murray Open is a fantastic event. It's an amateur event, but it's got a lot of really good players, and it's a fun time. And even a golfer like me can win a few prizes.
Yeah, for sure.
Just make a birdie, you win a prize.
What kind of?
But it's a great course.
Mm-hmm. What kind of advice?
I'm looking forward to that.
What kind of advice would y'all have for newcomers who are thinking about coming to Scotland for the first time?
Get some good rain gear.
You know what? That is the
one.
first thing that everyone says when I ask for advice. And
get some good reindeer. Learn how to play in layers.
Yes,
because you can start off and be in, maybe just a light pullover like this, and next thing you know, you're pulling out a puffy coat and throwing on a rain jacket over it.
Yeah.
Also, though, I would say just beforehand, I would say do as much research on your own as you'd want. If you like going prepared, do as much research on the courses, the history of them. Because if you learn the history of the courses, you can then talk to your caddies and ask them questions, and it just kind of spurs conversation on, and it just makes the entire round a little more enjoyable, just because you've got something in common you can talk about. You're not just you're asking questions like you at least know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe not, maybe you don't, but at least you can fake your way through it. But yeah, just do a little bit of research before you go, and that way it's not all foreign to you.
Mm-hmm.
Great point.
All right. Well, last question for you both. Who is y'all's favorite Bearcat football player of all time?
You mean other than
that's not a loaded question.
Wait a minute, who's
I don't know, some loser who was there a couple of years ago. I don't
know. My dog's upset with that question. I was going to say Teddy Bear. Isn't that the guy?
Desmond Ritter.
Do you know who Teddy Bear is?
Yeah. Well, hey, cheer them on, man. It's exciting. They're going into the playoffs. So
yeah, I'm not sure when this podcast is coming out, but we'll when it comes out, we'll know the decision probably.
I'm pulling for the Bearcats. So.
Good. Yeah. We're gonna need we're gonna need a little extra help, I believe.
My dog's name is Bear, and he's when I said the bear, he starts going nuts. So
all right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your experiences with St. Andrews. Hopefully we can have y'all on again after an Ireland trip. And then
I'd love to.
We can talk all about new experiences.
Terry, it's been too long. Hayden, thank you very much.
Thank you so much to those guys for sharing their stories of their couple Scotland trips. Hopefully we can get them out to Ireland here soon. If you enjoyed, please share this video, like, subscribe, and follow. And I hope to see you next week.